Hello, BJ. Very basic Bible. More leaven, as you see on the title. Leaven, leaven, leaven. What in the world so important about leaven? Nothing more important than other things in the Bible. Is it been more important than like the blood of Christ, the love of God, important Christian doctrines? Hey, what about loving your family, doing good to your neighbor? What about that stuff? Evangelizing. It's a Bible study. Learn to study the Bible using something as seemingly pointless as leaven. Something as seemingly pointless as leaven to see the wonderful, amazing truths we can draw from it. Have we yet? Remember, very basic Bible. We're mostly looking at how to study the Bible. So you're going through with me. I mean, last video, I was like, wait a minute, there's a mistake. Wait, I don't know. I ran into something that I didn't know. I'm taking notes, typing them down, showing you who you can study. Exactly. A Bible study along. That's why it's called that. Here we go, guys. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to keep going on leaven. Oop. Let's bring my notes up. There's my desktop. Matthew 24. There's Arminius. Dr. Michael Brown. The Phil Vischer podcast. Yeah. Right. Basic Bible Lectionary, leaven number 4. So this is going to be 5. Man, whew. Imagine if I was like, let's talk about everything leaven in one video, like 7 hours later. Here's my video games. I like to play some video games there. Yeah. All right. Oh, leaven. There we go, guys. Confused right here. Confused a little by verse 13. Right here, Leviticus 2, don't offer up any leaven and smoke. Leviticus 6, bring ingredients. Priests will cook their portion without leaven. If they cook it, no leaven. Verse 13, though, of chapter 7, Leviticus says, leavened cakes. It's like, wait, everything was no leaven whatsoever. Unleavened, no leaven, unleavened, no leaven, no leaven not mentioned. Cooked, no leaven. Don't offer up any leaven and smoke. Priests could cook their portion without leaven. So when you offer uncooked ingredients, if you're going to cook it, no leaven, it seems. That's what it seems. Here we go. Luke 15. Yep, I was looking at that. Let's go to Leviticus 7. Actually, let's do this real quick. Leaven, just to get caught up. Okay, their dough before it was leavened, before it rose, because you do know leaven, right? Yeah. All right. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. The blood of my sacrifice would be the Passover. We went through that. This one too, also talking about the Passover. So Exodus 12 is the Passover, the original one. No leaven. Before it was leaven, no leaven. And elsewhere in Exodus 12, it says, get all the leaven out of your house. So in Exodus 23, when it's talking about Passover, you shall not offer my blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. Why not just say unleavened? You shall, let's take out the not and put it before the leavened. You shall offer the blood of my sacrifice with unleavened bread. Sometimes I do that. I'm like, what exactly is it saying? I'm not sure. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. What if I took this out? Where would the not go? The negation, the absence. Where would NOT, where would I put that? You shall offer the blood of my sacrifice with not leavened or unleavened bread. The sacrifice of the peace. Okay, so I'm going to leave the nor out. Also, the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover shall not be left over until morning. See what I did there? Nor is the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover to be left over until morning. Okay, so you shall offer blood of my sacrifice with unleavened bread, and the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover shall not be left over until morning. It's a little, to me, it's a little bit of a reading tip, a little bit of a Bible study tip, a trick. When I'm reading something and I'm confused by it, and I'm like, I'm not sure exactly what it's saying. There's a not here and an and there and a this and that, double negative sometimes. You cannot not do this. Or cannot not. What are you talking? So I'll switch them around, and then, I figured it out. All right, that one. There's a little Bible study tip and trick for you. By the way, if you're like, BJ, how do I study the Bible in the first place? If you're like, what about very basic reading comprehension? Okay, if you're wondering about that. If you're wondering like, BJ, what's the very basic that we can do, okay? I'm going to show you over here in my YouTube video. I got a list. I got 2 lists, in fact, of YouTube videos. Go to my channel, your channel. All right. Very basic starts. Okay. Very basic Bible. Not Bible study, very basic Bible reading. And then not Bible study, very basic Bible reading 2. Let's view a full playlist. You're like, BJ, why are we taking the not? Now why you're doing, okay. Very basic Bible reading, repetition. Very basic Bible reading, names. You look up names. Okay, you repeat the verse over and over again. You look up names. Not very basic Bible reading, big words. Look up big words in the verse. I'm not saying study those big words and figure it. No. We're just trying to break down like maybe a single verse or 2 or 3. That's it. Just a few verses maybe. Small words, is, of, and, the. Wait, I know all those words. I know what they mean. But you look at them in light of the verse overall. Punctuation, seriously? Hey, look, I've always had a difficult time reading. When I'm trying to read a sentence, sometimes I have to look at the punctuation. Why is there a comma there? What if we move the comma here? Like, BJ, you really do that? I'm trying to figure out the meaning of the sentence, and it actually does help. Pronouns, proper names, Jesus, Peter. I think him, her, and it might be pronouns. See, I'm not even sure. Oh my goodness. Phrases, you take whole phrases, okay? Let's look at whole phrases. Let's break it. Parallel translations, that's one of my favorite, of course, right here. Look up many application. So it's like, BJ, why'd you show us all that? I'm very basic Bible reading, just trying to view full playlist. Number 2, repetition again, pronouns again, punctuation, clauses, switching, punctuation, clauses. So whole phrases, I believe, switching. Sometimes, like I just said, I took the not and I switched it. Switching. Words, verses. I think I read like 3 verses in this one. Actions. What actions are they taking in it? Nouns. What are the nouns? The, person, place, thing, Do I build from this one off of these? I kind of do in this study, I believe. But you can take the action or the noun. You can start reading a verse and you're like, I have no idea what this verse says. I have no idea what these few sentences say. I don't know what this passage says. Okay. I've got an idea. Let's look at all the actions and the nouns. Okay, actions. Let's look at all the actions. He walked, he ran, somebody said. When you do that, that forces you to read it, the verse slower, and it starts putting little, like when you're doing a, when you're in a map, the map gives you directions. It shows you little points on the map. Starts making the map make more sense, right? I clean my house. Sometimes I'm cleaning. Oh my gosh, there's too much to clean. I make out a little list. I say, sweep restroom, because we got cats and they get kitty litter everywhere. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Okay. Sweep restroom, vacuum this rug, put away dishes. So then I'm not like, what do I do? What do I do? No, I got point by actions that can let you do that. Punctuation can let you do that. You look at the punctuation in the verse. And, anyway. Back to Leaven. Now my face is back over here in the normal spot. Here we go. Leviticus 2. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall not offer up in smoke any leaven or any honey as an offering by fire to the Lord. Don't be offering up no leaven and smoke. Okay. Earlier in this chapter, anyone presents a grain offering as an offering to the Lord, his offering shall be cooked. No, his offering shall be of fine flour. Oh, cooked of fine flour. Well, not really. Watch this. His offering shall be of fine flour. He shall pour oil on it and put frankincense on it. Notice no leaven mentioned. He shall then bring it to Aaron, sons of the priest. Just flour, oil, and frankincense. It doesn't say it's cooked. It doesn't say it's not, but you're bringing flour, oil, and frankincense. You shall bring your flour, oil, and frankincense to Aaron's sons, the priests, and they shall take from it his handful of its fine flour and of its oil with all its frankincense. A handful. How are you going to grab a handful of fine flour, oil, and frankincense if something's cooked? I guess you just grab it, like you got a roll and you just grab a pinch out of it. It makes it sound like, to me, you're bringing the ingredients. You don't cook it yet. Then you can grab, like you got a heap of flour with some oil and some frankincense, incense, frankincense. Okay. Yeah, that to make it smell good, I guess. With some frankincense on it. The priest, out of the little heap, like you got a mound of sugar, you got a mound of sand, got a mound of flour. Okay. You grab some of it. And the priest shall offer it up as smoke. I'm guessing he throws it on the altar. You grab it from the guy, you carry it over to the altar, you drop it on the altar, offer it up in smoke as its memorial portion, the portion. So you got the whole mound of flour, wheat, and oil, however much it is. The priest grabs a portion, memorial portion, to remember. Memorial is to help you remember stuff. Don't forget. Drop it on an offering by fire. So you drop it on the altar. How else would you do it? You're going to drop it in a fireplace? No, they had an altar they did these things on. They built an altar. There's a fire under it, I think, maybe inside of it. Maybe it's like an old-fashioned stove. You open it and you shovel wood in there and you light it on fire and the altar gets hot. Don't fall on it. What if the priest tripped and just like a stove today? Be careful. The remainder of the grain offering belongs to Aaron, his sons, and most holy part of the offerings to the Lord by fire. By fire. I'm guessing since it's by fire. Now, when you bring an offering of grain offering baked, it shall be unleavened. Unleavened wafers spread with oil when it's baked. If your offering is grain offering made on the griddle, which means it's cooked, which means it's fired, shall be flour unleavened. I'm guessing in these ingredients, it's unleavened. 2:11, no grain. Now, this is a very important verse. No grain which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven. No grain offering. For you shall not offer up in smoke any leaven or any honey. Okay. No smoke with leaven in it. Don't offer up. Don't put leaven on the altar. Remember, the Passover. I want you to remember the Passover, where God passed over and didn't kill you. The same here. Leviticus 6:17, it shall not be baked with leaven. Okay. I have given baked. Don't bake with leaven. So don't cook it. Don't offer it up in smoke. Whether you offer it up on the altar, poof, and it burned, because you dropped flour on a really hot piece of metal. The altar is made of like bronze or gold or something. I think the bronze. Yeah, we should look that up. When you drop flour, dusty flour and oil and then incense on a super duper hot altar, it's going to go up in smoke. If you bake, it won't necessarily go up in smoke, but smoke could come out. Smoke could rise. It's going to cook it. So you got the same thing. You got one where it's burned up completely, the altar with the ingredients. You got one where you bake it, but you're still cooking it. Both ways it's being cooked. God says, it shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it as the priest to share from my holy offering by fire. It is most holy, like the sin offering, the guilt offering. By fire, no leaven. Now, here's the difficult chapter verse. Last time I said, I'm going to call Dr. Michael Brown, super duper Hebrew knowledgeable radio guy. I called, didn't answer the phone. I called several times, didn't answer. Was it the wrong day? I'm not sure. I had the right phone number. I know I did. I'm 90% sure I did. I'm not sure. But just after I was like, I'm not sure. I cheated. Let me show you what I did. I typed in, what is it? Leviticus 7. So hey, Bible study, not outside the Bible, but using tools that, the Bible doesn't have tools itself. But I got to go to Google instead of, okay. Leviticus 7. Leaven. Okay. This is what I did. So you might be like, BJ, usually don't do that. You just look at the Bible. Now you're using Google to help you. I agree. Okay. You see it's purple, blue, 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 purple. Oh, look at this. Commentaries. Biblehub.com is a good Bible website. I look at this. Besides the cakes. Okay. So this is our verse that was confusing to us. Besides the cakes, he shall offer for his offering leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offerings. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I was so confused. Let's read real quick. Where is it at? 7:13. 11. All right. I'm going to start at the beginning. Now, this is the law of the guilt offering. It is most holy. In the place where they slaughtered the burnt offering, they are to slaughter the guilt offering, and the priest shall sprinkle its blood around the altar, just like on Passover. You sprinkle blood on the doorpost, but here you sprinkle it on the altar. God wants them to worship in one place, So they go to the tabernacle or temple, but when they're roaming around in the wilderness with Moses for 40 years, they're not carrying a temple. It's a tabernacle. Yeah. So they all go to the altar. They sprinkle the blood there instead of on their tent post, I guess, because they'd be staying in tents in the wilderness. Exodus 12 says, smear blood on the doorpost of your house you're living in. If you're living in a tent, I guess you could smear blood on your tent flap, But here they're going to do it instead. They're going to go to the altar, which they built. They're going to sprinkle blood there. The priest will, for everyone. The priest is representing everybody, right? Then the priest shall offer from all its fat, the fat of the burnt offering, the guilt offering. In the place where they slaughter the burnt offering, they slaughter the guilt offering. So the same place where you do the burnt offering, they're doing the guilt offering. The priest shall offer from the guilt offering, which means it's not flour. not bread, not wine. There are some drink offerings. It's not grain. This is an animal. All of its fat, the fat tail, the fat that covers the entrails, you're going to offer this up on the altar. The 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins. And he shall remove the lobe of the liver with the kidneys. Why do they do all that? I don't know. God wanted them to do it. I guess this was normal for them. So when God was like, hey, don't forget the lobe, they were like, oh, yeah, thank you, God. It was normal. You know, the priest shall offer them up in smoke on the altar as an offering by fire to the Lord. It is a guilt offering. Every male among the priests may eat it. Good. Because, well, every male among there are only males among the priests. I guess there could have been females helping out around the tabernacle, but no female priest. It shall be eaten in a holy place. It is most holy. The guilt offering is like the sin offering. There is one law for them. The priest who makes atonement with it shall have it. They need food too. God says, hey, make this offering, then partake of it. Okay. A big thing back then in ancient times was feasting with your God. If God is mad, if you're mad at somebody, okay, you're really angry with somebody, and he's okay, and you say, hey, I know we're really angry. Let's go watch a football game together. What? No, bro, get away from me. I'll go watch it by myself with my own friends. Say you're really angry and you say, hey, let's go do something fun together. Like, dude, I'm mad at you. Okay. I guess we'll do. I'll try to have fun anyway. Right? You try and do things with each other, right? Eating was a very kind of a ritual thing back then, a very special thing. They would often have meals, kind of like today we have a fancy church event, and then we have a church potluck. Today you go into countries that are still more do things the old way. Let's say you go to India, where things are still, they're civilized, they're advanced, they're normal people like us, but they still have older customs. You go over there, you visit somebody and they're, special, and they go, come in. You come in and there's a big feast. They're like, come in, sit down, let's have some food. You're like, wait, I wanted to come in and say hi. Now you're making me eat? To them, oh yeah, I wanted to come and say hi. I wanted to welcome. I wanted to get to know you. I wanted to hang out so we could be like together in fellowship. But you're gonna make me eat food? Wait, we don't have any time to eat. We need to get to know each other. Let's say hi first. No. To them, eating is saying hi, is fellowshipping. You go in there and they're trying to honor you. They're trying to say, I honor you. Here's some food. And they eat food and you eat food. Right? So here we got, you're offering up unleavened bread and smoke. And then the priests are eating some of it. What? You're with God. You offer it up. You say, this is for you, God. He eats some, you eat some. That represents you're together. Right here, you offer, you sprinkle the blood. God passes over you, just like Passover. Passes over you. Pretty cool, huh? You sprinkle the blood. Death passes over you. He sees the blood. You've been faithful in doing what he said. You offer him up the fat stuff, the fat of the tail, the fat of the kidney. So God eats, quote unquote, that part is God of the meal. And then every male among the priests may eat it. And then you eat some. You're with God. You're eating it. You and God, y'all are tight. Y'all are together. Tight? Is that a thing? I can't. Is that a thing anymore? Y'all are like this. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty cool that way, huh? A meal with God. How awesome is that? Pretty awesome. Let's look real quick. One of my favorite Bible passages. Mountain kill. It'd be like mountain and kill. What? Or do too much mountain doing it. Kill. Oh, I was like, I know it's there. Mountains, but mountain. Exodus. There you go. With evil motives, he brought them out to kill them. That's not it. I could go to Exodus and just kind of search around. Let's see. Oh, that's eat mountain. Let's see. We're gonna up hill. Okay, I promise there's a Bible passage. Okay. Oops, Aaron. Go to me, Moses, in the wilderness. And they came down from the mountain. The people are sitting around Aaron. Come make a God for us. Why? Why can't I? All right, I'm kind of frustrated. Oops. Exodus 23. Various laws. Okay, the Sabbath, land, 3 national feasts. They're going to conquer the land. So this is the law. Okay. Moses is grabbing a law. And some of this law is also the Levitical law that we're reading about, the whole leaven. Don't offer people affirm their covenant with God. Okay, we just saw kind of rituals that they do to remain faithful with God. But here they're affirming their covenant with God. Right here, up, Aaron, but there's no mountain. Okay. Moses, come up to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and you shall worship at a distance. Moses came and reported to the people all the words of the Lord. Okay, now look at this. Oh, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord made with you in accordance. Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people. Just like Passover. You put blood. Blood symbolizes life. God sees life. God sees the blood. You put blood, right? Blood on the people. Okay, then Moses went up with Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, the other 2 priests, and 70 elders of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel under his feet. Where'd they go up? They went up on the mountain. It wasn't just Moses. Look up here. Come unto the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, you shall worship at a distance. Moses alone, however, shall approach the Lord, but they shall not approach, nor shall the people come up. So the people aren't coming up. The priests are, and the priests don't get totally close to God, but they go up with him. Moses went up with Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, 70 elders. They saw the God of Israel. Under his feet there appeared to be a pavement of sapphire, as clear as the sky itself. They saw the feet of God. Yet God did not reach out with his hand against the nobles of the sons of Israel. They saw God and they ate and drank. You think, oh no, let's fall down and worship him. Oh no, let's do a ritual. Let's burn a sacrifice. Let's burn some incense. Let's pray. They ate and drank. There aren't hardly anybody in the Bible sees God this clearly. When they saw God this clearly, they at least saw his feet, right? Feet. Does God actually have feet? In Ezekiel, it talks about God being there's a chariot pulled by cherubim. They've got eyes all over them. Then there's a dude in a cloud with burning legs. Is that God? What? Different people see God different ways throughout the Bible. In Isaiah, it says Isaiah was in the temple and he saw God high and lifted up or whatever, and the train of his robe filled the temple. God's got a robe now? What? The train of his robe fills the temple? He's in the temple, probably only see you're going to see God in the way God's going to present himself differently to different people. I mean, right here, they saw God's feet. See God as a man. It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Oh, New Testament. Jesus is getting baptized. They hear the voice of God the Father from heaven. They just hear it. And then it says the Spirit landed like a dove on Jesus. Like a dove. Did it look like a dove? In the book of Acts and Pentecost, it says the Holy Spirit came like the sound of a rushing wind. It landed on each one of them like tongues of fire. Seems like God can just say, hey, I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to be whatever I want. I'm going to be fire. I'm going to look like a human with feet. I'm going to look like a crazy guy in a chariot and burning legs and, being pulled by a chariot, being pulled by angels with eyes all over him. But they're here with God. And what are they doing? Ate and drank. I mean, the people affirm their covenant. This is an important part of Israelite history. They just got the priests. They just got the law itself. This is like, okay, we just got all these people away from that. We just rescued them. God just rescued them out of Egypt. God destroyed the nation of Egypt through the Red Sea. Got all these people. Okay, we're going to make a nation out of you. We're going to give you laws. We're going to give you priests. Now, y'all are going to come see me. And we're going to eat and drink together. Pretty cool. All right. Likewise, every grain offering is baked in the oven. And, wait. Also, the priest who is, 1 second, guys. I'm going to turn off my phone before one of them rings. Got it. Okay. The priest shall have for himself the hide of the burnt offering, which he has presented. So I guess the skin, they don't burn up. You keep the hide, you can make clothes and stuff out of it. Likewise, every grain offering that is baked in the oven and everything prepared in a pan or in a griddle shall belong to the priest who presents it. Remember, no leaven if it's prepared in a pan or a griddle. Every grain offering mixed with oil or dry, just the ingredients. You don't cook it yet. Maybe it's cooked anyway. Maybe dry just means without oil, with or without oil. Maybe it doesn't mean cooked. Okay. Shall belong to sons of Aaron, to all alike, to all the sons of Aaron alike, all of them. Now, this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which shall be presented to the Lord. If the person offers it by way of thanksgiving, then along with the sacrifice of thanksgiving, he shall offer unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers spread with oil, and cakes of well-stirred fine flour mixed with oil. Okay, unleavened, obviously. What else would you expect? Unleavened this, unleavened that. The unleavened. When the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving, he shall present his offering with cakes of leavened bread. That looks like an outright contradiction. If he offers the peace offering by way of thanksgiving, then along with the sacrifice of thanksgiving, he shall offer unleavened cakes mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers and cakes of well-stirred fine flour mixed with oil. With the sacrifice of his peace offerings up here, the sacrifice of peace offerings. Okay. With his sacrifice of peace offerings for thanksgiving, it says, if he offers it by way of thanksgiving, sacrifice peace offerings for thing, he shall present his offering with cakes of leavened bread. Of this, he shall present one of every offering as a contribution to the Lord. It shall belong to the priest who sprinkles the blood of the peace offerings. They eat it along with God. But what in the world? Leavened? How is that supposed to be unleavened? Now, usually what happens is this. And I'm super confused. I go to the next verses or the next few verses and I look it up and I go, oh, now it makes sense. I didn't do that last time. I didn't even look at parallel translations last time. Leviticus 7. Let's do that first. Parallel translations. Leviticus 7. Go. Leviticus. We're going to have all 14 for this bad boy. 7. This whole weird leaven thing. All right. Leviticus 7. Leviticus 7. Okay. Here we go. This is all okay. What's the NABRE? This is the ritual for preparation for the reparation offering. Reparations. You done something bad, you pay reparations for it. You're repairing the guilt. You're repairing the breach. There's something between you. You want to prepare. It's broken. You want to prepare it to bring you together. Then you can eat together, or go hang out, watch football, like I said earlier. I watch sports highlights late at night. Sometimes I'm like, I go lay in bed and I want to calm down. And I watch these sport highlights, it's kind of fun. And then I go to sleep. Otherwise, I don't know hardly anything about sports. So this is the ritual for the reparation offering. It is most holy. Okay, so Leviticus 7, just like we looked at over here, Leviticus 7. It's going to talk about the lobe of the liver and the kidneys and the hide and everything prepared in a pan. Okay, here we go. At the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered. If you want to follow along with what I read here in NASB, NASB. NASB. So there's what I read a minute ago, but I'm going to read it from the NABRE. Get us some Bible study chops. Yeah. Pet my cat for a second. Hello, Mr. Kitty. How are you? Yeah, we call him Mr. Kitty. I call him that. I don't know if my wife called him Mr. Kitty. We only have male cats. Anyway, this is a ritual for the reparation offering. It is most holy. At the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, the reparation offering shall also be slaughtered. Leviticus 16:8. Okay, I guess it tells us probably Leviticus 16:8 probably tells us about the burnt offering. Let's look real quick. Even though this is about leaven, Leviticus 6:8, not 16:8, 6:18. The Lord said to Moses, tell Aaron and his sons, this is the ritual for the purification offering. At the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, there also before the Lord shall the purification offering be slaughtered. Okay, so wherever you do the burnt offering, you also do the reparation or peace of guilt offering, the reparation or guilt offering. You also do the, what did it say, purification offering? Yeah, so you do them all at the same place, which is what God wants anyway. Okay. Its blood shall be splashed on all the sides of the altar, right? Over here, sprinkle its blood and thrown against these sides of the altar. Splat. And the Passover, they took a hyssop branch. I'm going to look up hyssop. Hyssop, right there. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's really pretty. Definitions, uses in the Bible, smell, and facts. So Britannica.com probably not just talk about just the Bible, but since it's an important thing in the Bible, they'll have a little bit of an interest for it. Look at some images of hyssop. You think this is what it looked like back then? What in the world? Red lip flower. Okay, so BJ, what do you mean what it would look like back then? Okay. Things do evolve. I'm not saying evolutionary theory. I'm not saying 2,000 years ago there was a monkey and now the monkey looks just like BJ. No. But things just kind of change in general. I bet they don't change that much, actually. I bet they... Seems like things barely change. Maybe, is this what... Well, hey, if I say a deer in North America, and then I go over there and I go, it's a deer, and they go, oh, a deer, and they show me, it'll be different things. Similar maybe, but different. So, okay, so now we're getting, I don't know, evolution, talking about deer and taxonomy and what do animals look like. I don't know, but hey, here's hyssop. Very pretty, isn't it? You take some of this hyssop, you dip it in the blood, you smear it on your doorpost for Passover. What do you do over here? Its blood shall be splashed on the altars, on all sides of the altar. How do they do it? Maybe with some hyssop, they splash it. All of its fat shall be offered, the fatty tail, the fat that covers the organs, and all the fat that adheres to them. as well as the 2 kidneys with the fat on them near the loins and the lobe of the liver, which is removed with the kidneys. Okay. The priest shall burn these on the altar as an oblation to the Lord. An oblation. You're going to burn all this fat stuff. Then the priest must offer them up in smoke on the altar as a gift to the Lord. It is a guilt. It is a reparation offering. Over here, guilt, 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 reparation. This is a Catholic translation. The Catholic translation, like the Catholic Church, maybe instead of guilt, they use the word reparation. I've gone to a good amount of Catholic services in my life, but not for many years. When I was younger. When I was younger, I didn't necessarily pay much attention, right? I tried, couldn't remember stuff. I have a very bad retention rate. Okay, every male of the priesthood line may eat of it, but it must be eaten in a sacred place. It is most holy. Because the purification offering, the law is the same for the sin offering and the guilt offering. The guilt offering is just like the sin offering. So I guess you're purifying yourself from sin, purification. Okay. Because the purification offering and the reparation offering are alike. Both have the same ritual. The reparation offering belongs to the priest who makes atonement with it. Okay, so that's good. That helps us. We know they're alike. As for the priest who offers someone's burnt offering, to him belongs the hide of the burnt offering that is offered. Okay, look, burnt offering, burnt offering, burnt offering. You think it's going to be different. Burnt offering, not different. Also, every grain offering that is baked in an oven or made in a pan or in a griddle shall belong to the priest who offers it. No leaven, I'm assuming. Whereas all the grain offerings that are mixed with oil or are dry shall belong to all of Aaron's sons without distinction. Listen to this. All other grain offerings, whether made of dry flour or flour moistened with olive oil. Okay. Whether dry or mixed with oil. That makes sense. I'm not sure. I don't recall. We haven't read any yet. Now, we haven't read everything in Leviticus about offerings. We were at chapter 2, then chapter 6. The other day, we read a little bit of another video, read a little bit of chapter 4 and 5, but we didn't read all of it. But everything we have read, anytime you have grain offering, you have oil with it. But here, whether dry or mixed with oil, makes it sound like you can bring it without oil. I don't know. See, weird things. So we're talking about unleavened, leaven. What the? That's strange. Okay, here's a little strange thing too. We didn't live back then. If we lived back then, this might make sense. A lot of things are taken for granted. When I say go up the street and make a right, and I promise it'll be 3 houses down. If you did not live where I live, you'd say go up the street and make a right. Which way up the street? Like is there a street? There is a street up there. Well, which way? Well, make a right, like the first right, the second right. Are you sure? You'd be confused, right? I said, hey, turn on the. If I was giving instructions to my kids, and I said tonight, turn on the TV. Please hit the record button on time. Okay. When you hit the record button, I need you to turn the volume up. All right. Somebody comes over, like me. I don't have a TV. We have a TV with a VCR and DVD. We don't record stuff. We don't watch cable. We don't have any of that. We don't have that. We just watch DVDs. If I went to somebody's house and they told me that, I'd be like, wait, what remote? Wait. What time? You told me turn it on and hit record at the right time. I don't know. Where's the record button? Is this what channel even? What am I recording? I don't know. Imagine that. Imagine 3,000 years from now, somebody reads that conversation. They'd have no idea what's going on probably. If we were back in their time, whenever God said any grain offering, whether dry or mixed, we wouldn't go, but wait, God, before it was all dry. I mean, it was all mixed. It was always mixed. Wait, what's going on? We probably wouldn't do that. We would be in their context. This would be everyday stuff to us. This is everyday stuff to them. There's stuff they know about from that God doesn't spell out in super duper detail because they know it. So when we read this, it's kind of, imagine if we wanted 100% of the information. We're getting like 2% of the information. They already know the other 98%. It doesn't have to be spelled out. So this is a good principle right here. Just like we assume that it's always mixed with oil, right here it says with oil or dry. Mixed with oil, whether dry or mixed with oil. Okay. It's kind of strange, but okay. That's, we could just accept, oh, sometimes they can bring it dry, not mixed with oil. Down here, this is a ritual for the communion sacrifices offered to the Lord. So we got another sacrifice, I believe. If someone offers it for Thanksgiving, so communion versus peace, but over here, fellowship sacrifice, fellowship offering. Yeah. Fellowship offering. A lot of people might hear New King James. Everybody's into the King James and the NIV, two most popular translations. So look, New King James or King James, law of the sacrifice of peace offerings. Okay, I change it to King James. Peace offerings. Okay. Lots of people, they know the King James. Peace offerings. Lots of people also know the NIV more than any other translation. The King James and the NIV. Fellowship offering. How confusing is that going to be? Dudes, you know what I have not been doing? Okay. Let's see. Very basic Bible. Open you back up. Now, which one is right there? I accidentally opened something I didn't mean to. Okay. Bible study along. Okay. Other topics. We talked about cultural context. Eating. Which is how people see God. Various offerings. Okay. Other topics. So whenever I put this on YouTube, okay, when I put on YouTube, I have the basic description of the Bible study along. Then I have what scriptures we use. Then I put other topics we talked about. Besides the title, besides Leaven. We've talked about a lot of stuff here. Oh, in the very beginning. Basic Bible study tips. Okay. Otherwise, I forget. Right? My retention gone, and my attention span. Retention, meaning keep in mind what you've been taught. Attention means pay attention now. So I need attention for retention. Okay, sorry guys. All right, here we go. This is a ritual for the communion sacrifice. Oh. Differences in translations. NIV versus KJV. Kind of. All right. So when I was when I was younger and I would try to study this, 41 now. So I say younger, I don't know, 25, 30. So not long ago. But even when I was a little kid and I would try to read through this stuff and it didn't make any sense, I would get confused because I would see, oh, there's a sacrifice of peace offering. There's also a fellowship offering. Okay, good. So some types of offerings, burnt offerings, guilt offerings, sin offerings, peace offerings, fellowship offering. Wait. The sin and the purification offering are the same. And the fellowship and the peace offerings, same offering. But since you got two super popular translations, NIV, NASB, or KJV, you got super popular translations. And look at this, New Living Translation. I read that one big time when I first started in my 20s, started reading the Bible like crazy. Peace offering. But I also would memorize some things in the NIV a little later on. What does it say in the NIV instead of these are the instructions regarding the peace offerings? Fellowship offering. How confusing is that going to be? Man, why do they do this to us? Man, they're like, we're going to make it easier by making another translation. Psych to making it easier. Anyway, this is the communion. This is the ritual for the communion or peace sacrifice that is offered to the Lord. The sacrifice of peace offering, which shall be presented to the Lord. Okay. All right. If someone offers it for Thanksgiving, okay, Thanksgiving, thankfulness, Thanksgiving, at least that's the same. Thanksgiving is the same. If someone offers it for Thanksgiving, that person shall offer it with unleavened cakes mixed with oil, unleavened wafers spread with oil, and cakes made of bran flour mixed with oil and well kneaded, and probably unleavened. Now, up here, everything with oil. Oil this, oil that. You know, always have oil on stuff. Dry or mixed with oil. It's a little strange. Okay, maybe there's certain times dry mixed oil. Now, leaven seems a little more important because that was for the Passover, for Exodus 12, the original Passover, that was a huge deal made out of. God's like, no leaven, period. One shall present this offering for Thanksgiving, the fellowship offering as an expression of thankfulness. You're offering your peace/fellowship offering for thankfulness. Okay. And if someone offers it for Thanksgiving, that person shall offer it with unleavened cakes, unleavened wafers, cakes made of bran, probably unleavened. One shall present this offering together with loaves of leavened bread, along with the Thanksgiving communion sacrifice. So you're going to offer this offering along with and with. This is confusing. What is being offered with what? Here's what I want to say right now. One shall present this offering, I believe, is the Thanksgiving communion sacrifice. So, you know how the Bible repeats itself, right? We've talked about that. The Bible will often be like, we want you to go to the ravine. We want you to go to the ravine and climb down deep inside of it. And when you get there, you're going to meet up with Aaron in the ravine that you've climbed down inside. Like, why do you repeat itself? That happens often, right? In the Bible, it'll be like, you're going to sacrifice A, B, C, and D. And when you sacrifice A, B, C, and D, you're gonna eat it. You're gonna give it to the priest to sacrifice A, B, C, and D. You're like, wait, you just said 3 times. Why? That's just confusing. That's the way they did it back then. So here, I believe, back in Bible times, that's the way they wrote. I believe one shall present this offering together is the same as with the Thanksgiving communion offering. It's just repeating itself, I believe. Up here, along with their fellowship offering of Thanksgiving, they are to present an offering with thick loaves of bread made with yeast. So the NIV doesn't repeat it. Along with their fellowship, if we were to try to make the NIV and the NABRE the same, along with their fellowship offering of Thanksgiving, one shall present this offering. Okay, along with one shall. Oh, hey, look. Along with their fellowship offering of Thanksgiving, down here on the NABRE, along with the Thanksgiving communion sacrifice. communion, peace, fellowship. So this in the NABRE is up here in the NIV. Same thing over here. This peace offering of thanksgiving also up here. Let's look at it in the okay. With this sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving, he shall present his offering with cakes of leavened bread, along with the thanksgiving communion. So here, the NABRE is kind of confusing us. Let's see. He is to present as his offering cakes of leavened bread with thanksgiving sacrifice of fellowship. So here, the along with is down here. The NIV, along with their fellowship offering of thanksgiving. The CSB, with his thanksgiving sacrifice of fellowship. It's at the bottom. Why do they do that? Translator's going to translate differently. You don't like it? Hater's going to hate. Why would I say that? I don't know. That's just what they did. That's what the translators think it's different, you know. I remember reading a few weeks ago the book of Micah, I think it was. We looked at several translations, looked totally different. Why? Hebrew is an ancient language. Different scholars, they're going to try to have a regular way of translating from Hebrew to English, but ancient language being translated into modern English, when you're constantly learning new stuff about it, it's going to be changing. People are going to have different opinions. 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. But in ancient language, which you're not sure what this or that word might mean, you're not sure about the grammar, scholars are going to discuss it. Smart people are going to study it. They're going to discuss it. And they're going to say, well, I think it means this. And the other guy's going to go, well, I really think it means this. You're going to have differences. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I'm going to pet my kitty for a moment. I would pick him up and show him to the camera, but he's zonked out. Well, I mean, he's awake, but he is just chill while I pet him. He's like, this cat, he don't like me much, so I got to be careful. Maybe he could offer some Thanksgiving offerings. I don't know, whatever. For a few days, he wasn't eating. Then he started eating again. So we canceled his drop off at the vet. And instead, next week, my wife's just going to take both our cats in for their annual appointment. It's been like 3 years. Tri-annual. Yeah. You know. There we go. Let's see if this sheds any light on why in the world is God going to let them suddenly be presenting leavened offerings. Why? Okay. With the sacrifice of his peace offerings for Thanksgiving, he shall present his offering with cakes of leavened bread. Next translation. With the sacrifice of his peace offerings for Thanksgiving, he shall bring his offering with loaves of leavened bread. So up here, if he offers it for Thanksgiving, where's it at? If he offers it for Thanksgiving, then he shall offer with thanksgiving the sacrifice unleavened loaves. He shall offer with the thanksgiving sacrifice unleavened loaves. But here, with the sacrifice of his peace offerings for Thanksgiving, he shall bring his offering with loaves of leavened bread. NET. If he presents it on account of Thanksgiving, along with the thank offering sacrifice, he must present unleavened loaves mixed with oil, olive oil, unleavened wafers smeared with olive oil, and well soaked in oil, I'm guessing, ring-shaped loaves made of choice wheat flour mixed with olive oil. Okay. He must present this grain offering in addition to ring-shaped loaves of leavened bread, which regularly accompany the sacrifice of his Thanksgiving peace offering. It still sounds, I mean, this verse sounds like it's saying the same as this verse. If someone offers it for Thanksgiving, or what was it? Thanksgiving. Yeah. If someone offers it for Thanksgiving, that person shall offer it with unleavened cakes mixed with oil, unleavened wafers spread with oil, and cakes made of bran flour mixed with oil and well kneaded. One shall present this offering together with loaves of leaven. So you're going to present this offering. Offers it for Thanksgiving. Person shall offer it with unleavened cakes. One shall present this offering together with loaves of leavened bread. So since I cheated last night and I looked at these commentaries, here's what it seems like the commentary said. Let's see. Okay, this is you're gonna find this far-fetched. Some of you might already be like, maybe, okay, if someone offers it for Thanksgiving, that person shall offer it with unleavened cakes. So you're offering the fellowship / peace communion, peace or fellowship communion. Okay, you're offering the peace, fellowship, communion offering. Okay, I'm just going to say I'm going to say that since we're in the NABRE communion. Okay, here's peace, here's fellowship, communion. This is a ritual for the communion sacrifices offered to the Lord. So what's the ritual? When someone offers for communion for Thanksgiving, they offer it with unleavened cakes. And along with the offering, for Thanksgiving with unleavened cakes, you got that. On the unleavened cakes with the Thanksgiving offering here. Now, along with that over here, loaves of leavened bread. So we got three things. The communion offering for Thanksgiving, unleavened cakes and oil, leavened bread. Maybe one shall present this. This is communion offering with cakes of oil, unleavened bread, with unleavened oil and bread. One shall offer this with a separate thing, loaves of leavened bread. So there would be two breads. There would be the sacrifice, which is normally with the sacrifice, you give leavened bread, unleavened bread. So you got that part of it. And along with that, God's saying, hey, since it's an offering for Thanksgiving, also give me some leavened bread. Maybe. So God's going to get two things of bread. He's going to get the meat, the bread, the unleavened bread, and then he's going to get some leavened bread. Maybe that's what it's saying. From this, the individual shall offer one bread of each type of offering, one bread of each type of offering. Is that saying the unleavened wafer on the griddle smeared with the oil and the leavened, or the loaf? Or is that saying, or is each type of one bread a cake, a wafer, one on a griddle, one in an oven? Well, then what happens to the leavened, all without leaven? Well, then what happens to the leavened bread over here? From this, the individual shall, from this, okay. From the cakes, he is to present his offering of cakes of leavened bread with, so we're assuming that's one thing, the cakes of leavened bread with the Thanksgiving sacrifice. The Thanksgiving sacrifice is the animal and the unleavened bread. So his cakes, if this is correct, if I'm correct, then okay, the cakes of leavened bread, he is present as his offering, cakes of leavened bread with the animal and the unleavened bread, the Thanksgiving sacrifice. From the cakes, he is to present these cakes of leavened one portion of each offering as a contribution to the Lord. One portion of each offering. See, we could look that up. I'm not sure. We could keep studying this. An hour and 7 minutes already. One of each kind of bread must be presented that really sounds like it's saying if it's one of each kind of bread, maybe instead of either wafers or cakes or in an oven or a loaf, maybe it means either unleavened or a leavened loaf. One of each kind of bread must be presented as a gift to the Lord. Oh, and just to tie it all up, okay, it will then belong to the priest who splatters the blood of the peace offering against the altar. The meat of the peace offering of thanksgiving must be eaten on the same day it is offered. None of it shall be saved for the next morning. You're basically just copying the Passover, right? Yeah. But for some reason, and the communion offering for Thanksgiving, or the peace, or the communion, peace, fellowship offering, all the same thing. The communion / peace / fellowship offering for Thanksgiving, communion, peace, fellowship, CPF. The CPF offering for Thanksgiving is just like the Passover. You offer it with unleavened bread. You splatter the blood, just like in Passover. You paint your doorpost. Unleavened bread, just like God said, no leaven. But for some reason, this one, so you got 3 things: splattering the blood, the meat you eat and don't leave until morning, 4 things. The unleavened bread, those are the Passover. Unleavened bread, get the blood, splatter the blood, eat the meat, don't let any of it remain until morning. Also, communion, fellowship, peace offering for Thanksgiving, leavened cakes. Maybe that's it. Look at this. Besides the cakes, that is the 30. I don't know where he gets that number. The 30 unleavened cakes, which were made of half of the quantity of flour brought by the offender, as described in the previous verse, the unleavened cakes. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, the previous verse 12. The oblation will be an act of thanksgiving, the offering. The oblation, the offering. Man, this Catholic version is just, the CPDV. Did I close? I closed it. How did I do that? Oblate. Look at this. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just go with it then, because I'm fixing to finish anyway. We're at 1 hour and 10. If you offer it for the Thanksgiving, if the oblation will be an act for giving of thanks, man, this is, look at this, NIRV, friendship offering. So we got to show they are thankful. So we got peace offering, fellowship offering, communion offering, friendship offering. Unleavened bread. Maybe now you're able to offer leavened bread because you're friends with God. Maybe when you're not, just give me unleavened bread because I'm coming over to kill people in the Passover unless you paint that doorpost and don't have no leaven in your house and don't leave it until morning. But now we're friends. So you do all the same stuff. Maybe this is just BJ's mind work. You do the unleavened bread, you splatter the blood, you eat all the meat. Hey, now you're friends with God. So, and this ritual includes some leavened bread. If you had unleavened bread before, what would happen? There's a verse, we remember reading that verse that says, anyone with leaven in their house, caught in their house, shall be cut off from Israel. During the feast of unleavened bread, anybody with leaven, cut off, you're gone. Probably put outside the camp. You could probably make a sacrifice. You can repent, say, I'm sorry, Lord. please forgive me. You can do the right thing, start getting rid of the leaven, offer sacrifice, okay? But that's how seriously God takes. He says, no, this is a cut-offable offense. They're gone. But here, we are now at peace with God. We're saying thank you to the Lord. We do the ritual of the sacrifice. We've given them all the stuff, the blood. We're not going to leave it until morning. We're going to give them the unleavened bread. And since this is a peace offering where we're now friends with God, we can eat some leavened bread. And God, we're not cut off. Maybe. So, the previous verse it talked about unleavened bread. That's verse 12, as described in the previous verse. The 10 leaven cakes made of the other half of the flour to be brought. So half and half. I'm not sure where he gets that from. If we were to study the Bible really close, we would come to that. These had all to be baked before the victim was slaughtered. Oh, look, the only other occasion when leavened bread formed part of the offering was on Pentecost, the Day of Atonement, I believe. Leviticus 23:17. But no portion of it was burnt on the altar as a memorial, for leaven was forbidden to be on the altar. It did say an offering of smoke, leaven. When you cook it, no leaven. This isn't, you drop the ingredients, it doesn't have leaven as one of the ingredients. Right? Now you have cooked these loaves, but not on the altar. So maybe that's it. Maybe. Leavened bread. Because this was a sacrifice of another kind than those in which leaven was forbidden, this being a sacrifice of thanksgiving for God's blessings, among which leavened bread was one. Leavened bread was also a sacrifice of thanksgiving. Maybe. Leaven indeed was universally forbidden, but that prohibition concerned only things offered and burned upon the altar, which this bread was not. It does say that if you bring 11 wafers, you put one of them on the altar, and then the priests eat the rest of them. If you bring unleavened cakes cooked on a griddle or whatever, in a pan, you leave some to God, you eat it. Maybe these loaves, they're leavened, just the priest eats them. It's just for the priest, maybe. This sacrificial gift. So these are smart people. Expository, Rich Elliott's commentary. They're kind of old, probably. Why do I say they're kind of old? Because they're free. Benson commentary. Barnes notes on the bottom. Jameson copy. Okay, this one's a little newer. This is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings. Besides the usual accompaniments of other sacrifices, like unleavened wafers, unleavened oil, unleavened stuff mixed with oil. Besides that, leavened bread was offered with a peace offering as thanksgiving, such as bread being common at feasts. Okay. And then it talks about, what is it? This guy up here mentioned Leviticus 23:17. So real fast, we're almost done for this video. Real fast, Leviticus 23. All right, laws of holy days, okay? When you reap the harvest of your land, moreover, you shall not reap to the very edges of your field, nor gather gleaning of your harvest. You are to leave them for the needy and the stranger. I'm the Lord. Laws of holy days. Sons of Israel, the laws, the Lord's appointed times that you shall proclaim as holy convocations. Holy days. 6 days of work may be done, but on the seventh day is a Sabbath. Okay. So a weekly holy day. These are the appointed times of the holy. The first month on the 14th day of the month at the twilight is the Lord's Passover. Then on the 15th day of the same month, there's a feast of unleavened bread. Okay, right? Oh, 7 days you shall present an offering by fire to the Lord. 7th day, the holy convocation. Okay, so there we go. There's a feast. So you got a weekly feast. Now you got this one once a year, the Passover. Because when you enter the land which I'm going to give you as a harvest, you shall bring the sheaf of first fruits of your harvest to the priest. He shall wave the sheaf before the Lord, you accept it. On the day the priest, the Sabbath, shall wave it. Speaking of repetition. So now when they get in the land, oh, look at that. Its grain offering shall be 2/10 of ephah of fine flour, an offering made soothing aroma, and its drink offering. And now we got a drink offering. So we got all this stuff happening. You shall count for yourself that from the day after the Sabbath, 7 complete Sabbaths. You shall count 50 days to the day, the 7th Sabbath. You shall present a new grain offering to the Lord. Okay, 50 days later. So you got this feast. Then you're going to give him the feast of first fruits. Then 50 days later, another one. Pretty cool, huh? 50 days later. Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a rest. A reminder by blowing trumpets, a holy convocation. Is this another feast? Is this one of these feasts? You shall not do. Are we in the right chapter? Along with the bread, you shall present 7 one-year-old male lambs without defect, and a bull of the herd and 2 rams. They are to be a burnt offering to the Lord with their grain offering and their drink offerings. An offering made by, let's see, 23, 17. Okay, you're going to count for yourselves from the day after the Sabbath, from the day when you brought in the sheaf of the wave offering. So remember, when you enter the land which I'm going to give you to gather its harvest, then you shall bring in the sheaf of the first fruits of the harvest to the priest. Okay? You're going to wave it. What does that mean? You wave it before the Lord, wave like that. Yeah, hi. You know, I guess maybe you don't burn it up. Maybe wave versus in smoke. You shall also count for yourself the day after the Sabbath, from the day when you brought in the sheaf of wave offering. There shall be 7 complete Sabbaths. You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath. After you wave the grain of the first fruits, 50 days later, then you shall present a new grain offering to the Lord. You shall bring in from your dwelling place 2 loaves of bread, as a wave offering made of 2/10 of an ephah. They shall be of fine flour baked with leaven as first fruits to the Lord. You baked it. I guess it's because it's not going to go on the altar. Maybe the priests are going to eat it. Okay, guys. All my videos have been under an hour and 20 minutes so far, except one that was 2 hours. So I want to keep on under an hour 20. Let's pray real quick. Lord God, thank you for letting us Bible study along this Bible with you. You're awesome and glory, magnificent. And even these weird and strange to us, these very peculiar to us rituals, they're what you gave them to do. Us studying them, Lord, is getting closer to you. Thank you, Lord. Amen. See you guys in the next VBB. Very basic Bible.